Okay, I'm going to go over different countries that are English-speaking countries that you can get citizenship in. And all of these countries have real good visa-free travel, either visa-free or visa-free on arrival to countries and territories. And one thing I like about this too is all of these, except for um, really one doesn't allow dual citizenship. One doesn't recognize it, but it's allowed. Okay, the rest of them allow dual citizenship. And three of these are actually in the Caribbean, and several of these in the Caribbean are actually better passports than the St. Kitts and Nevis passport. The first one we'll go through is one that's in Southeast Asia, and that is Hong Kong. And it's actually got more visa-free travel than any of these on the list at 169 countries, visa-free or visa-free on arrival. Barbados is number 2 with 163, Bahamas 159, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is 156, and then St. Kitts is 154. It used to be St. Kitts was beating out St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but St. Kitts and the Grenadines has actually bypassed St. Kitts now. Now, Bahamas does not allow dual citizenship. Hong Kong doesn't recognize it, but it's allowed, okay? And I'm going to go through the details on how that works. Again, Barbados, St. Vincent, and St. Kitts, they all allow dual citizenship. And again, it's recognized. It's not recognized, but it's allowed in Hong Kong. Okay. Now you can have both a Chinese and a Hong Kong passport. I'm actually going to hit more on Hong Kong today because Hong Kong's got a really unique program here that they'll actually take equities. And one of the best places to buy equities right now is in Hong Kong, to buy Hong Kong equities and Chinese equities. And I'm going to go through a few things on the PE ratio on both countries and doing a comparison on the U.S. and Hong Kong and show you how the market's done year to date. I'm not advising you to buy there on equities. I'm just giving you this as general information you can get with your financial advisor and make a decision from there. Also, folks, if you can do us a big favor, we don't monetize our channel. If you do us a big favor, if you like our videos, give us a thumbs up and share our videos with some of your friends. And if you want these videos to come with you automatically, it would help us out tremendously on our algorithm. If you hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as anywhere from 4 months to a year, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. Now, you can have both a Chinese and a Hong Kong passport. Note that Chinese nationals cannot have dual citizenship. Only permanent residents of Hong Kong that are nationals of the People's Republic of China can apply for a Hong Kong passport. Hong Kong citizenship does not exist, and the city follows Chinese citizenship laws. Now, one of the questions that comes up, can non-Chinese get a Hong Kong passport? Now, non-Chinese citizens can do so if the non-Chinese citizens have 7 years of continuous residency in Hong Kong and has taken Hong Kong as his or her place of permanent residence. Now, to become a Chinese citizen by way of a Hong Kong passport, one of the questions people have is, do I have to show proof to the Chinese government I have given up my other passports? Actually, no. Obtaining Chinese citizenship through a Hong Kong passport, which is a special administration region passport of the People's Republic of China, does not automatically require you to renounce your passports. However, China generally does not recognize dual nationality. Now, here's a more detailed explanation and explain this. Hong Kong passports and Chinese citizenships. Now, how does that work? Now, Hong Kong residents who are Chinese citizens, meaning they were born in Hong Kong or mainland Chinese or meet the criteria for Chinese nationality, are generally considered Chinese citizens under Chinese nationality law. This is true even if they hold foreign passports. Now let's look at declaration of change of nationality. Now, Hong Kong residents who hold foreign passports can declare a change of nationality to the Hong Kong Immigration Department if they wish to be treated as a foreign national in Hong Kong. This declaration would mean they would no longer be considered Chinese citizens. Now let's look at dual nationality, because a lot of people have this and they get confused on several things dealing with Chinese passports on this. Now, while China does not officially recognize dual nationality, the situation is basically a nuisance as far as for Hong Kong residents. Those who are Chinese citizens by birth or descent or who have acquired foreign citizenship can remain Chinese citizens unless they declare a change of nationality. Now, let's look at no renunciation required for Hong Kong residents. Therefore, for someone applying for a Hong Kong SAR passport as a Chinese citizen, there is no requirement to renounce other nationalities. They can continue to hold their foreign passports. Now, there are some important considerations that you need to make. It's crucial to understand that while you may not need to renounce other nationalities to obtain a Hong Kong SAR passport as a Chinese citizen, you will likely need to declare your foreign citizenship and will not be eligible for Chinese consular protection or certain other benefits if you don't make that declaration. Now, let's look at consulting on official sources. Now, it's always best to consult with the Hong Kong Administration Department or legal professionals specialized in Chinese nationality law for the most accurate and up-to-date information regarding your specific situation. We can actually help you with the residency that leads up to citizenship. We do this, so if you're interested, you can go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help on this. Now, to get residency in Hong Kong through property investing, you need to invest a minimum of $30 million in permissible assets. This is in Hong Kong dollars, which includes a mandatory Hong Kong $3 million investment in a government-managed portfolio focused on projects that contribute to Hong Kong's long-term economic growth. The remaining Hong Kong $27 million can be invested in real estate or other financial assets. If you want to figure out what this is in US dollars, just divide that Hong Kong figure I gave you by roughly 7.78. It fluctuates a little bit, but that's to the US dollar, but that's generally what you can look at there. Now, here's a more detailed breakdown as far as the investment requirement. The primary requirement is a substantial investment in at least 30 million Hong Kong dollars in Hong Kong. Now, this investment can be made in combination of permissible assets, including real estate, shares, certificates of deposit, and other financial instruments. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why I like shares. And again, I'm not advising you to go in this, but I'm just telling you for my own purposes. One thing I like about shares, the Hong Kong market's very liquid. You can get your money out very, very liquid. And long-term, it's actually performed the S&P 500 index. If you go back from the time that the Hang Seng Index came out versus the S&P 500, take it all the way to current date, the Hang Seng Index has outperformed the S&P 500 Index, and I'm going to give you year-to-date figures, and also I'm going to give you valuations on the two markets at the very end. Now, let's look at a minimum of $3 million, which is 10% of the total, must be allocated to the new CIES investment portfolio managed by Hong Kong Investment Corporation Limited. The remaining $27 million can be allocated to real estate or other permissible assets. Now, let's look at real estate investment. Now, while the investment can include real estate, there are specific conditions. The investment must be in a single property with a transaction price of 50 million Hong Kong dollars or above. I don't like that. I would not be putting a lot of this money in real estate, although it has done very good in that market in Hong Kong. All the properties in Hong Kong are leasehold. They're not freehold properties except for the Vatican, the property there. So I would advise you not to be putting a bunch of money in property. Myself, if I was going to choose it, I'm going to tell you how to do it, what you should do, but I like shares better. They're liquid. You can get out of them quick. You can diversify in doing this. You can buy some of the biggest companies in the world by doing this. And China right now is getting big in artificial intelligence. I'm not going to mention specific companies. You can do your own homework on that, but I can tell you the valuation on artificial intelligence companies in China are far lower than they are in the U.S. market right now. And not just that, but other equities also in different sectors that you'll be looking at. Now, let's look at the real estate investment. Now, while the investment can include real estate, there are specific conditions. The investment must be a single property, again, with a transaction amount of $50 million or above. The property must have a completion date on or before October the 16th, 2024. There are other permissible investments. In addition to real estate, the investment can be made in a range of financial assets, including shares. This is the one I like the most. Very liquid there, and it's not tying your money up or anything like this, because you can get in and out. Now, obviously, if you get out too quick, you'll lose your residency there because you have to hold them there for a period of time. And they have some really good discount brokers there. We can help you in choosing that. We can give you real good advice as far as good companies to pick there. Now, certificates of deposits is another choice that you can pick. Subordinated debt, ownership interest in limited liability company funds registered under the Limited Liability Company Fund Ordinance there. Permitted collective investment schemes. Now, let's look at eligibility. Applicants must be at least 18 years old. They must have a clean immigration record and demonstrate that they have maintained net assets of at least $30 million US for the 2 years preceding the application. And let's look at residency. Now, successful applicants and their dependents are initially granted a 2-year visa, which can be renewed for 3 years. After 7 years of continuous residency, applicants can apply for permanent residency. It's important to note that the 7-year clock for permanent residency starts when the first employment visa is activated, not necessarily when the initial investment is made. Now, as far as the family members, dependents such as spouses and children under 18 can be included in the application. However, family members must also meet certain requirements and may need to apply for their own residency. Now, let's look at ongoing requirements. Applicants must continue to hold the maximum of 30 million Hong Kong dollars in qualifying assets to maintain their temporary resident status. They can eventually cash in their investments after obtaining permanent residency without losing their right to reside in Hong Kong. I'll tell you why I'm really centered on this one. I mentioned the other countries, and I've mentioned them in other fast-track programs in residency by investment programs and comparisons and stuff. But one reason I like this a lot is, number one, is it's got a really good visa-free travel. It's more visa-free travel than any of the ones I mentioned. But it's not just that. They're giving the option to go into shares. And you would be able, they're not forcing you to give up your other passport. They don't recognize it, but they're not forcing you to give up your other passport, okay? So this is the thing I like about this. And Hong Kong pretty much has a territorial tax system. That could change, but also you can leave after getting the passport if that does change. But they do have really good tax laws there. They do have pretty much a territorial tax system there. But right now, in my opinion, is a great time to be buying Hong Kong and Chinese stocks on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange that will qualify for this residency, at least part of it or most of it. Now, the S&P 500, just to give you an example, that's the U.S. market and the different indexes or indices in the U.S. Has averaged 7.30% as of this past Friday, year to date. Hang Seng Index as of year to date is 26.51%. So you're looking at almost a 20% rate of return difference just in the year to date figures. Now, that's no indication what's going to happen in the future. I'm just giving you for the last, since year to date from January up to the current date now, which is we're in July. Price earnings, though, this is things that you're going to have to look at. Price earnings on the S&P 500 index as of last Friday was 25.90% versus only 11.87 for the Hang Seng Index. So you're looking at the S&P 500, the valuation is over double what it is in the Hang Seng Index. So you can see that prices on U.S. equities as a general whole, you don't have to take it from me, before Charlie Munger died, he was mentioning this several years back, that the Chinese, especially the Chinese equities that bought on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, the valuations are a lot cheaper than the same type of equities in the U.S. But the Hang Seng Index is way undervalued compared to the S&P 500 index. And if you go back from the very beginning of when the Hang Seng Index came out and take it to the current date now, it has outperformed the S&P 500 index. So these are some things that you really have to look at. If you want to know more on this, again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. We can help you get in this program, residency that will lead up to the passport. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, folks, it would help us out tremendously if you can help us out. We don't monetize our channel. It will help us on our algorithm of our channel. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button right on your screen. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.